Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Wow, this is an amazing headline, and I'm really curious to see where this goes. So please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. The two asks are really, look, hit the thumbs up and let the video run, as long as you can. That's what helps to push this information into the other hands that maybe need to see it. So with this headline alone, it's already very curious to me, and I want to dig into it, go through it, see what we can find out. If you want to support the channel in other ways, please consider being a member. You can do that by going to the home page. You'll see the highlighted members there and a join button. You can do that. Also, check out the co-hosted channel that I have with Clay from the CivDiv. That is called Veterans Daily. And we have some back and forth, great dialogue, co-hosted channel, like I said. Check it out. All right, so let's dive into this. The headline is Veteran Basic Income could be the solution the VA has been searching for. Now, I'm very interested in where they're going with this. This specific article, or, article, came out, let's see, March 3rd, 2024. March 3rd, 2024, and want to share it with you here today. So, let's dive into it. I am hitting the little X to get out of some of that stuff so we can jump into it. All right, so you got the headline. Let's dive into it. 5 years ago, this February, the Department of Veterans Affairs underwent an overhaul of its appellate process when it implemented the Appeals Modernization Act, which is also AMA for those that maybe heard it that way. So that the AMA, well, I guess they said it 5 years ago. I was just going to say it went about 5 years ago. So Congress wanted to shorten wait times for veterans, provide more choices in the appeal process, and afford clear and understandable decisions. This Band-Aid fix did not mend the broken system that is VA benefits, as veterans are still waiting on average about 41 months for the Board of Veterans Appeals to adjudicate claims. Unfortunately, that wait time is only one step in the process and does not include the initial application, remands back to the VA regional office, or appeals to the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. So real quick, let's just explain that. When you disagree with a VA decision, you can put in for a higher level review with the VA. You could put in for a supplemental claim, providing more documentation evidence in your favor to the VA. Or you can push to the Board of Veterans Appeals, and that's where it's seen by a veterans law judge. They can either A, deny, or they can approve, or they can remand. Remand is sending it back to the VA, which takes more time for the VA to gather more information and do some more of their due diligence. If they deny, then you can, again, push it further along the appeal process, and that is with the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. So you could be stuck in that arena for quite some time. So let's jump back into it here. As a researcher specializing in veterans law and disabilities, I have witnessed the significant harm the VA system has on veterans. I'll tell you, the psyche aspect, going through the VA process does not help anything up here at all, not to mention the delay in granting benefits, which then could delay care. I mean, you can really look at it a bunch of different ways. So let's go ahead and dive back in. The VA benefits system relies heavily on the medical community to provide diagnosis, research on medical conditions and their causes, and the expertise of examiners to provide opinions on how an event or exposure during military service is related to a veteran's condition. This over-reliance on the medical community, however, impairs you, the veteran. Moving on. First, there is a significant concern for veterans receiving a proper medical diagnosis. For instance, doctors who conduct lung testing are trained to race correct results if the patient is black, even though studies have shown that there is no biological reason to do so. That means even if a black veteran may have a significant lung condition, because of the race adjustment, a doctor could find the results to be normal. That's horrific. Further, women especially women of color, have historically not been believed by doctors due to implicit biases and systematic biases within the medical community. These medical tests and disbelief of women and people of color do not impact adequate treatment, but will likely cause the VA to deny needed benefits. Second, science often lags behind the lived experiences of veterans. Just last month, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, released data that several cancers, including esophageal cancer, may be related to toxic water exposure at Camp Lejeune for more than 4 decades, or more than 4 decades ago. Brain cancer is now associated with burn pits, unfortunately, years after brain cancer is now associated with burn pits, unfortunately, years after Beau Biden passed away from that very disease after his service in Iraq. We have watched Vietnam veterans fight for decades to get recognition of those harmful effects of Agent Orange. No kidding, right? What an uphill battle it has been for Vietnam veterans to get the recognition of everything that comes with Agent Orange. That was a long haul, and it's still trickling in, right? So, all right, moving on. Veterans cannot wait for science to catch up, especially when they're suffering from terminal illnesses. Agreed. Scientists and the medical community just do not have enough data to determine that association until decades after the exposure, sometimes too late for many veterans. The old adage, and I know many of you love this one, delay, deny, wait till I die, appears to be many veterans' experiences. This system has become inherently adversarial, requiring attorneys to advocate for veterans because of the complexity of the system. Congress must change the VA benefit system to a veteran basic income, a monthly unconditional income for all veterans who are discharged from military service. This monthly payment may create a softer landing for military members when they transition to civilian life. We are in a significant recruitment slump where the Navy is removing barriers to enlistment. The promises of a veteran basic income could encourage civilians to serve their country with an understanding that it, in addition to the GI Bill, will be a step out of poverty and into the middle class. For many veterans, the VA system requires them to reveal past traumas to prove their entitlement to benefits. In many cases, the trauma veterans experience, like sexual trauma or combat trauma, is not officially reported. Some of my clients decide not to move forward on their case because of the repeated requirement to tell another person about their experiences. Therefore, or their advocate, a doctor, in an affidavit and even testimony to provide the VA with proof of their experience. And I'll add on to that, that not only just the fact that you have to keep repeating it to complete strangers or to people who might not believe you, going through that process is very emotionally full of laborly emotional, right? So there's that. But also there is a fear of, I don't want to report anything with regard to mental health for a whole host of reasons. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to be barred from getting a job. I don't want to lose my firearm. I don't want to lose the ability to get a firearm, even if I don't even have one, right? I just don't want to deal with any of that or have that to deal with in any avenues I'm trying to deal with life. So I know many veterans who are like, I'm not going to file for that. I'm going to push for everything else, and hopefully I can get a decent rating with everything else, and I'm just going to kind of forget about that unless you know, I really need to go there. That's the very last thing I'm going to do. So just kind of throw that out there. Anyway, moving on. A veteran basic income would alleviate or mitigate some of these burdens. Basic income has also been shown to reduce homelessness and lower mental health symptoms. Housing has been shown to improve health outcomes for veterans, with veterans homelessness spiking recently and suicide rates at 17 to 18 veterans per day. Basic income is the answer that may solve the bigger problems facing veterans and the VA. Moving on, veterans' basic income would be costly at the front end, yet it is shown that those who have income are housed and have access to health care save money for the entire system. It would be a massive change for veterans and the VA, but this would allow the VA to do what it is best at, providing care to those who have served. And this is from, let's see, so it's basically an opinion piece. This is on, I found this headline on The Hill, and it's by Yelena, Duarte, I'm guessing, Duterte, opinion contributor. And let's see what she says down here at the bottom for you, for those that have hung on. She is an assistant professor of law and director of the Veterans Legal Clinic at the University of Illinois Chicago School of Law. She is a Public Voices Fellow with the Op-Ed Project. So, opinion piece, but it's out there now, and curious to see if anyone else picks up on this. So, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.